Good morning everybody and welcome to another Sunday morning show in association with Golfing Days. I will come to Golfing Days as we move on through this video, but today we're at St Mellion Estates and we're following James Ruth around because this week is the build-up to the British Challenge, the Challenge Tour event here at St Mellion, which if you saw the big match between James and Joe, and then Joe wanting to not play in the event, which gave James the opportunity. Well, we're down here today to catch up with James. But before we do that, I'd like to hear in the comments, what did you think of the Open last week? For me personally, I thought Hoylake was set up amazingly. I obviously had the opportunity to be up there from the Monday through to the Wednesday to do some filming with FootJoy, which was fantastic in the campsite. And I hope you enjoyed last week's Sunday show of that. I've been lucky enough to play Hoylake a couple of times without any stands, and I have to say, looking at that golf course with the stands, the definition of how they created those sort of features and the holes were absolutely amazing. I don't think you'll play it any better than how they had it set up there for the Open Championship. But I'd like to hear, what did you think about Brian Harman's win? There's a lot of mumbles and grumbles gone in through the media. I thought it was fantastic to see somebody dominate it like he did, and it was also great to see so many of the good players trying to sort of claw their way back, but you could see there Rory McIlroy getting going as much as he could in the early few holes, but couldn't keep it together to keep up with Brian Harman. But down in the comments, was Brian Harman the right win for you? Let's get out here at St Mellion. So walking and talking, what does it mean to actually get the opportunity to play in this event around here?
Yeah, it means an awful lot really. I've played this course so many times, and for me it's probably the best inland course in the country, and it's a course I've had success on in the past, but it's just great for St Mellion and the southwest to have a Challenge Tour event down in this area. For me, this course provides the best challenge probably in the UK. Every single hole is a potential danger.
Yeah. I'm
excited to be playing and test myself against these players. You know, you can't get away with bad shots around here. You know, you've got to be on it for 72 holes, and the winner is a true champion around here.
Are you going for every par 5? Is that a strategy? Do you know, because of your length, do you tend to go for it all the time?
On most golf courses, yes. Yeah. But, you know, having played here so many times over the years, the only one I'll probably take on is 16.
Really?
7 off a forward tee possibly, but this hole here, you know, you've got to hit a fantastic tee shot round the corner with a driver, and then you're left with a 2-iron or a 3-wood into this green, which is so narrow. You look at this pin today, if you miss that green left, you've basically taken 4 out of the window, because it's such a tough up and down. The closest you're going to be able to get that short game shot is here, whereas if you lay up to 90 yards, you're going to be able to get it here every single time, if not closer with your wedge. So statistic wise, I think you're going to make more 4s here laying up than what you are try to go for it in 2.
Yeah, and then but ball below your feet coming down off that lie there promotes a little bit of a fade.
Yeah.
So is the bailout not just like short right, going for it a little bit, or would you say?
Depending on where the pin is. But today, if you were hitting a 2-iron or a 3-wood, then yeah, you'd want to miss it in this right bunker, and it leaves you but it's not, you know, it's not a big target. You're only hitting to maybe a 18-20 yard area with a 3-wood or a 2-iron off a downhill lie. Again, that's not an easy shot to sort of pull off. Historically, I suppose on YouTube, it's all been about distance. Yeah. Distance off the tee, you know, the longest player, get as far down there as you possibly can. I mean, we think about, is it Le Grandville that we played, in that scramble that we played, and it wasn't always about getting it as far down there as you possibly could, was it? It was about getting it into, well, yeah, but it was about getting it into, you know, taking sometimes the shot from the fairway. Absolutely. You know, look at Brian from the Open Championship. I mean, it switched to putting it into position. You look at any of these tough golf courses, Zach Johnson in the Masters when he won, he decided to go for no par 5s, I believe. Okay. He didn't go for 1 par 5 the whole week, so he laid up on 13, 15, and that was his strategy. But you look at any of the tough golf courses, if you get aggressive, you know, Bryson, what did he call the Masters? Augusta, par 67. They're not power, they're precision golf courses, and this is a precision golf course. If you attack this golf course and it comes off, you might be able to shoot 6-7 under, but you could also shoot 82 the next day with the same strategy. And isn't that the importance of practice rounds?
understanding what that golf course is designed for.
Absolutely. You know, like I say, I'm an aggressive golfer, but I've played this golf course enough to know that I'm probably going to go for one par 5. Maybe if they push the 7th tee up, it's worth a risk, because then you can hit a 7 iron in and your landing spot gets a bit wider. But this is a precision golf course, and be good with your wedge game, but anything under par around here, even on a calm day, is a very good golf score. Yeah.
So as I mentioned earlier, in association with Golfing Days, there's always this Sunday morning show. I actually have potentially a spot available to come out to Portugal in November, the Vila Moura golf courses. I had 3 people, one of them unfortunately can't make it. So if any of you are interested in coming along out to Vila Moura with me for the Pro-Am, then just let me know down in the comments, ping me an email at dh@dhgolf.co.uk, and maybe we can get something hooked up. But I'm also next week going to be away at the Golfing Days versus DHG match at the Belfry, and that's going to be an exciting one because it's going to be kind of like a bit of a Ryder Cup. We've got lots of guys that are watching this video right now going to be coming over to the Belfry to join us in that match, so it should be fun. And at the beginning of next week, we're going to also be at the Forest of Arden, which is where I'll probably start next week's Sunday morning show, which could become some exciting news around the Masters. So you'll have to tune in for that one. But there's one person that I do want to have a little catch up with, David Moon. He's the director of golf here at the St Mellion Estates. So let's go inside now, have a quick catch up with David to see how this golf course is preparing itself for this big event. Well, we're here again, another major event here at St Mellion.
Yeah, can't wait really. I mean, I was out on the golf course the other day, not doing justice like these boys next week are going to be doing, but I was giving it a go, and I just can't wait for these top players to kind of come down and see this golf course. It's going to be an exciting week.
And what is the actual, and I know you've hosted so many big events over the years, and I mean, there's some lovely pictures down the bottom that you've put up there, which are great, but what does it mean now to host another big one? I know it's the 2nd year running for the Challenge Tour being down here, but what does it mean to you personally to hold such a good event here?
I mean, the golfing community were here kind of 30 odd years ago when we had the Benson Hedges and watching Sevin and Latibel, all those great legends, I mean, world-class golfers. But I think for the golfing community, certainly down in the southwest, the opportunity to kind of come and see top level golf. I mean, you've got some great players going to be coming down. So for that community down here, and even more for that for our members, and we've got a huge kind of young membership now at St Mellion as well, which is great to see that thriving. I think that's been a real benefit to us in recent years. So I think for them to kind of come down here and see top level golf down at St Mellion, making us a relevant European Tour venue once more, I think is just something that we couldn't pass up really.
And it's interesting you say that about the younger element, should we say, of people. I remember getting those Benson Hedges tickets when I was 10, 12 years old, coming down and seeing those players that you've just mentioned there. Talk about inspiration. I mean, there's a number of my sort of age group that have come up through the ranks and are now pros, or certainly PGA pros. But those are the types of little events that help people like us come through.
Absolutely. I think, and you don't have to be, you know, ultimately your aim may not be becoming a golf professional at the end of the day, but you've got people who will come here, and if they, you know, a mid-teen handicap, and they come and watch the golf and think, you know what, I'm going to practice a bit more, I'm going to go to the short game area, I'm going to get some lessons, buy better golf equipment, immerse themselves in the game, not necessarily even with lots of time, but just trying to get themselves and improve. That's really good. We've also going to have a little junior event here on the Saturday, which we did last year, so it's quite low key, but gives the juniors the opportunity to come and play the tournament, the golf course during the tournament, and just get to feel what's like kind of, you know, inside the ropes.
Yeah, the course is looking great, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, we're really fortunate. You know, Dan, you've been here a long time as I have, and you know, Mike Bush and his team produced 2 great golf courses. I mean, it's a case that you just kind of just sharpened up a little bit just to make these guys, you know, from a tournament perspective, but day in, day out, it's a great golf course, presents great all year round. Kerner course, again, another great golf course, presents really well. But for the green staff here, and Mike as well, for them to be able to kind of present a golf course to European Tour standard, it's great for them as regards for their career. Mike's been here 30 years, hopefully not going to go anywhere anytime soon, but he's an elite course manager, and for him to be able to present a golf course, you know, we're one of only a handful of European Tour venues in the UK this year, so for him to be able to do that, I think he's great for him, great for us, and great for everybody.
Well, a few people have mentioned it in a previous Sunday morning show, and why didn't I talk to you about the English PGA Championships? I just haven't had time to speak to you. But English PGA Championship, not just this year, but last year as well, back to back.
Yeah, and second the year before that.
Was it really? I didn't realise that, yeah.
Yeah, Adam Keogh shot, I think, 9 under that first year, so we kind of ran away with it after round 1.
And then last year, and this is what kind of like, and I know we're going to rattle a few cages here, but this is what did upset me a little bit, was that last year you won the English PGA.
Yeah.
A lot of people ask again, you know, what does that get you? What does that lead you on to? A bit like what with Paul winning the PGA Championships this year, you know, what does that get you into? Well, winning the PGA Championships gets you into the playoffs, but there was a little carrot, wasn't there, for winning the English PGA last year, because it got you a DP World Tour event for the English Open.
Correct, yeah.
But it didn't happen.
No, so the DP World took the English Open off the schedule this year, so it was removed for whatever reason, sponsorship or what have you, so then that spot that I had gained in that was then removed. Yeah.
So there was a little bit of momentum, wasn't there, on the DP World Tour of having like an English swing?
Yeah,
or
so
a British swing.
That benefited the PGA guys really nicely, because you had like the British Masters, the Welsh Open, the English Open, and yeah, through the English PGA, the Welsh PGA, you got starts in DP World events. And I think last year at the playoffs, Greg Hutchin got 7 DP World starts through the playoffs. So he got he got the English, the Welsh, the British, the BMW PGA, the IPS Hander in Ireland. So yeah, I think he ended up with 7 DP World, and Adam Keogh, who was second at the playoffs, played 5 DP World last year.
But obviously, with it not happening,
yeah,
what does that mean? Just doesn't happen.
Just doesn't happen. So the start then, yeah, Sean Bebb I think won the Welsh PGA. He didn't get his start in the Welsh Open, and me the same in the English Open. Yeah, hopefully it comes back next year and I'll get a start for winning it this year. But if not, it's just one of those things you've just got to accept.
Do you accept it?
Yeah.
Just is what it is?
Yeah, I've been playing golf long enough now where, you know, you've got to control your own destiny, and sometimes things are out of your control. Similar to, you know, golf shots on the golf course. You know, if somebody plays better on the day, then, you know, that's out of your control. But yeah, you've just got to accept it. You know, the PGA do as much as they can do to try and get those starts, and if the DP World take it off the schedule, then they do. You know, maybe they could push for more starts in the British Masters, or, you know, the flagship event, Wentworth. You know, we only get 1 spot now, and it used to be 20. So yeah, I won the Order of Merit last year in the West region. That would have automatically got you into Wentworth 10 years ago. That's not the case now.
Top 3 used to get in, didn't they?
Top 3 in the region, and used to be, when I first got through the playoffs, I think I was, it was top 10 in the playoffs, used to get through to Wentworth then as well. So
it is like, from a PGA point of view, you know, there are not very many opportunities that the lads get to play in, and girls and guys, you know, and things like Monday qualifiers kind of have gone. They used to be a thing, certainly in European Tour. They're not a thing anymore. I know that they are over in the States still, but these opportunities for players like James, these are opportunities to get into bigger events, to then start working their way up that ladder to become, well, tour players basically. And ultimately it feels like there's only one route now, which is possibly just purely through Challenge Tour. But I'd like to hear what you think in the comments. Is it right that by pulling that event that James doesn't necessarily get a start somewhere else, should the PGA be looking at pushing that to other events, or try and have that conversation with the DP World? And would you like to see more of PGA pros competing at the Wentworth event? Like James said, it's gone from 20 to 1. Should there be more? I'd like to hear down there. The par 3s can bite you around here, can't they?
Yeah, they're not overly long. Maybe the 11th is the only one over 200. But again, it's one of those where, if we look at this pin today, it kind of looks a little bit innocuous off the tee. But if you go 4 yards right that pin, you can catch the bank, go over the bunker, and it's in the hazard. Yeah. You know, I've done that quite a few times. So again, it's just having, you know, the respect, and the, you know, basically the course designer wants you to play middle of the green. And this is the fantastic thing about this golf course, is that it's so good that if you play it in the right way, you can shoot a good golf score. But if you go aggressive and you get it wrong, it's going to bite you.
Well, to me, that rough looks juicy.
Yeah, it's all about, I think I've spoken this before about certain vlogs, but it's assessing the lie. I didn't mind that because the grass there is going with you.
Yeah.
So you can actually get a proper strike, but you only need to be 2 or 3 yards different. You look at that now, you see how that grass is lying into you?
Yeah, absolutely.
So that is a horrendous lie in terms of trying to judge how that's going to come out. So I can play this here, grass going with me this way, as a normal little chip shot. Grass just slides through the grass. But here, I've got to play that completely differently. If I try and play that normally, I'm just going to duff it on the edge of the green. So I've almost got to play it.
Yeah.
Like a real kind of chopped bunker shot. And it looks like I'm sort of duffing it, but you almost have to intentionally duff that to get that close.
Just show me this other lie that we've got over here that we've staged, so we say.
Well, yeah, I've not sort of put that ball down, but here at St Mellion, this grass is so what I would classify as sticky.
Sticky, yeah.
So again, if I try and play a normal chip from there, you know, that grass, it's struggling to get through that grass. So you almost need to play it like an aggressive kind of poppy action where you're dropping the club on the back of that ball.
So it's interesting you say that, James, because I call this shot like a Bermuda pop shot, where I open the club face up, and this was taught to me very early in my college days down in Florida by the #1 player on the team, good friend of mine, Richard, who, what he used to do is he used to just say, just stop on the ball, don't let the club go past the ball when you hit it. So it's almost like open the club face, ball position slightly further forward, lean into the shot like you would do in a normal kind of chip shot, but almost allow the club to stop there. So you're not allowing that club to rattle through, it's just stopping, and it's what I call it a Bermuda pop, but it's just something that allows you to be able to go into the shot and then not double hit the ball as it comes out.
Because if you look at this, it's so well designed because it's all lying in different directions. Like that there, the club's getting stuck. Here the grass is going through a bit better. Here's really tricky because it's going sideways across you. So it's, you know, you could get 3 different lies there and have to play 3 different sort of types of shots.
And just looking at your wedge, so you've got a new wedge for this week?
Yeah,
just come in?
I ordered one sort of a couple of weeks ago, and it's come sort of through for next week, and I think it's going to be golden because this course you can miss it on the sort of short side, and you know, to get a little bit more spin and a little bit more control from some of these lies is going to be a real.
What is it? What have you got?
I got a Vokey,
yeah,
SM9 60 degree with 8 degrees of bounce.
Okay, and that's fresh in the bag for this week.
Brand new.
Yeah. Were you surprised from last week's Sunday morning show when I was in the tour van where they said tour players changing it every sort of 3 or 4 weeks now?
Yeah, well, when I was out there, they were probably changing it every 3 or 4 months. Yeah. So, you know, with the firmness of greens and how they're trying to maybe trick up golf courses a little bit more, you know, having fresh grooves, yeah, no, that doesn't surprise me. For the amount of difference it makes, you know, everybody out there that watch the channel, when you get a new wedge, you're probably seeing different reactions on the green that you're not used to, the ball sort of checking up, so that can be a massive benefit compared to a 4 or 5 month old wedge that they're using all the time is not going to spin as much.
I've got some really early memories of this place, certainly from Benson Hedges days, the events that used to come down here. I remember Sandy Lyle down in between the trees between 2 and 7, trying to play a shot out there. I think we even helped him find his golf ball down there for him. Even coming off of the 6th green, I went into the toilet there, the little toilet there, and Faudo came in. And anyway, but like, have you got similar memories to that?
Yeah, I've got a similar memory on the 16th toilet with Faudo. I literally remember stood there just looking up, and he was one of my favourite golfers growing up. But the one memory I do have is John Gorman. He was a greenkeeper here. He's passed away now. Yeah. Really good friends with his son Alan. But basically, he was a greenkeeper here, and I think I got dropped down for the day. I was like 12, and it was raining. I had these purple and blue waterproofs. They were awful things that my mum and dad had got me. And anyway, I left them. Standard procedure for me, as your brother knows. But I'd left them. I think I'd left the jacket at one of the tented villages or what have you, and then, you know, my mum and dad had said to John, look, if you see this jacket, and they were all packing up, and he saw like this purple thing in the back of this van, and he managed to get it back and got the jacket back for me.
Lovely guy, John.
Yeah, I'll always be thankful for him for that.
But yeah, it does. This golf course has so many great memories for people like James and I because it's local to us.
Yeah.
And I can't stress enough to, especially Challenge Tour, where it's free to come and watch.
Yeah, Manacero,
so many good players.
Laporta. Yeah, there's some guys that have won on the DP World. You know, your Paul Dunns. you know, some guys with some serious records.
There really is.
And you know, Oliver Fisher, a lad I grew up with, you know, I know he's playing next week. You know, some seriously good golfers, and you know, the golf course is playing superb. You know, we've had a bit of rain, and yeah, you won't see it in better condition for the guys next week.
Okay, wandering over to probably my favourite hole on the golf course, not because how long it is, but it's just an absolutely stunning golf hole and gives you so many different options. And one of the tee boxes that we used, certainly in the St Mellion Amateur when I played here back in the day, was this top tee. And wandering up, has it been dotted?
It has, Dan.
So it has been dotted, so that means that the potential are...
That tells me they're potentially planning to use it round 3 or 4. I think first 2 rounds it would be pace of play. It would slow up quite a lot, people waiting for the green.
The amount of people out here.
But certainly when you've only got 50, 60 guys at the weekend, it can be a massive risk and reward. You know, you could see a 3-shot swing off this tee with guys going for it, making a 2, you know, potentially making a double, or it's a pretty easy layup, so you know, you're going to probably guarantee yourself a par, you know, possible birdie if you lay up, but then you know, you could make an eagle if you go for it.
Well, thank you, James. Thank you for another great Sunday morning show. Anything that you want to say to the audience before you finish?
Just a big thank you to St Mellion, really. They let me come down and play on Tuesday, and they've let us come down again today. You know, a lot of pros want to come down and play here, and yeah, it's one of the premier venues in the southwest, so thank you to them.
Yeah, and we wish you all the best for next week.
Thank you.
Don't forget, if you want to come down and watch St Mellion for the Challenge Tour event, I will pop a little link in the description which you can go and have a click on, and it will take you to tickets. Remember, tickets are free of charge. There's no charge for tickets to come and watch the Challenge Tour, so make sure if you're local to this area, you come down to watch James, support him for the week. That would be absolutely fantastic. If you can't get here and support him, make sure you watch online. I will probably be posting throughout the social media with the leaderboards, things like that. But next week on the channel, San Martin's Golf Club. I'm up there with my brother Paul, Ben Emerson and Mike Brown. It's a fun match. It's a 3-parter, Monday, Wednesday and Friday, so enjoy. Don't forget, if you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you again very soon.